You know, I never think of Christmas that I don't recall that time that me and Curly spent that Christmas punching cattle on the line. It was the winter of '87 on the Dryhead working for the old Bar O. It was early in the morning of December 24 when a norther started blowing like a mountain lion's roar, and Jack Frost blew until that mercury shrunk to 38 below. Well, we lit a shuck that morning after breakfast, me and Curly, because we wanted to get our work done, maybe get home a little early, as choke cherry wine was in the way to help us celebrate that holiday. So we headed for the draw where they'd been hanging towards the south, and we just came over a hill when a curse from Curly's mouth turned me around to see calamity happening at a pond a ways away. Seems a cow fell through the ice and she was bogged down in the sand, so we latched on with our rietas and we drug her onto land, but in that wind we could see that if we didn't dry her off, the old girl would soon be dead and gone. So I hustled back to camp and hitched the team up to the sled, and then between the two of us we drug her on the bed and took her to the barn and lit a fire there and tried to get her warm. Then through the dim light of a lantern we had hanging on a nail, a close inspection of this critter showed some blood left on her tail. Seems she calved the night before and had a baby somewhere out there in the wind. Well, Curly didn't even hesitate or stop to think it through, because there weren't no doubt in his mind what us two cowpokes should do. We had to find that little feller, so we saddled up and headed out again. We split up to try to find him, but the dark came quick that night, and I returned to camp and was surprised to see no light emanating from the humble little iron shack me and Curly called our home. No, Curly hadn't made it back yet, and he never did that night. As the blizzard kept raging through the absence of starlight, I was sure that my friend Curly had met his maker, been called to the great beyond. Still, though, I had to find him, so next morning, right at dawn, I went and caught a horse and saddled up and just got on when I heard my old friend Curly calling at me through the timber or the wind. He had a calf, a live coal draped across him in the saddle, and I'll tell you, friends, in all my years of chasing wild cattle, I ain't never been as happy to see a man as I was to see him then. With calf and mother reunited, safe and sound there in the barn, and Curly by the fire drinking coffee, getting warm, he began relating details of the cold night he'd just spent out on the plains. He said I knew the dark was coming and I'd probably best go home, but I just couldn't stand the thought of him out there all cold and alone, so I kept on hunting till I heard him bawling from a little clump of sage. Then I picked him up and threw him across the saddle on my horse and headed out. I hadn't got nowhere when I seen without a doubt that I just didn't know which way to go to get my friend and me on back to camp. Because you see, the wind had started blowing harder, and I'd got plumb turned around between the darkness and the snow. I couldn't even see the ground, so I just kept on riding with my little friend in front of me all shivering and damp. Then from out of nowhere, up ahead, there shone a star. It seemed to beckon to us, calling at us from afar. So answering, I reined my horse towards it in hopes it'd lead us back. We followed up the gullies, over drifts, and through the trees, our celestial signs still guiding for my little friend and me, and finally dawn broke, and there in front of us was this little old line shack. Curly stopped and looked at me and wiped the corner of his eye and said, "You know, they say that miracles are just for days gone by, and the Lord don't take the time to speak to folks like us from heaven anymore." But that's my story, son, and I'll stand by it till I'm dead, 'cause I know I seen a star and it was guiding overhead. And you know, I'll bet that little star has probably done that sort of thing before.